Welcome to Alive and Well, the podcast for the new era of high achievers. You're done burning out, and you're ready to lead, work, and live in a rhythm that honors both your brilliance and your body. I'm your host, Michelle Grosser. I'm a trial attorney turned nervous system strategist, and I've lived the burnout story. I know what it's like to chase your goals at the expense of your well-being. And I also know it doesn't have to be that way. Here, we're redefining success. It's where productivity feels peaceful, boundaries feel like freedom, and energy comes from within. Each week, I'll share practical tools for nervous system regulation, time mastery, and somatic strategies so you can show up with clarity, calm, and confidence in every part of your life. Because you, my friend, were given a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. So here's to life and living it fully. This is the path to feeling alive and well. Let's dive in. Welcome to Alive and Well. It's Michelle here. So glad you guys are with us today. We talk so much about the body. And I love that. And it's important. And when we understand the physiology and how our nervous system functions and our afferent nervous system, we have to start with the body because it's 80% of the messaging that's happening inside of us. However, that other 20% is mindset. And that's where we're going to land today. We're going to talk about our mindset and 5 core beliefs that keep high achieving women like us stuck. And then I'm going to give you some nervous system shifts that will help set you free. Because I think as we head into Thanksgiving week, at least if you're listening to this in real time, it's a week that holds so much beauty. It's one of my favorite holidays, probably Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? It holds so much beauty. It holds so much, just all the goodness. And it also holds a lot of pressure and stress, sometimes in equal measure. And I want to have, I think, one of the most important conversations that women like us need right now about these 5 core beliefs that keep us stuck, because I think they've been reinforced and reinforced and reinforced. And for in so many ways, probably that we don't even realize, our nervous system has learned them as truth. And these beliefs shape how you work and how you mother and how you lead and how you rest and how you respond and how you carry the weight of being the capable one. And today I want to offer you an invitation to just see these a little differently. Not so that you can fix anything, right? Not so you can try harder with mindset work, but so you can start to understand what's happening physiologically. You can start to understand why your body holds onto these beliefs, even when intellectually you know that they aren't true, right? Even when intellectually you know better, why does your body still hold on to this, right? Why does your body still believe this? Because once you understand that, you guys, holy moly, does that bring so much freedom. So tell me if this sounds familiar. Maybe you're asked to take something on that you absolutely know you do not have bandwidth for. That happens to me all the time. And I bet it happens to you too, right? You're asked to hold something or lead something or plan something or pick something up or attend something or host something. And immediately your mind knows the truth. I don't have the capacity for that, right? I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the energy. I don't have the time. I don't want to. That's valid also. Your mind knows the truth. But what happens? Our body responds first, right? It's a quick inhale and a long blink and a tiny freeze. And then there's this nod that becomes almost automatic. And what comes out of our mouth? Yeah, no problem. I'd be happy to. I'd love to. I can totally do that, right? And it slips out before we even realize what we are saying. Logically, you know your plate is full, but somatically, something deeper is running the show. And that's the moment I want to explore today, because that moment where you're choosing to say yes when you know you shouldn't be is not about willpower. Friend, it's not about discipline. It's not even about your mindset. I know that's what I said we're going to start with, but it's really not. It's about deeply held beliefs that live in your nervous system, not in your mind, not in your thoughts, not in your mindset. All right. So before we go any further, I also want to just brief disclaimer here. You're not stuck in any of these core beliefs because, I don't know, you don't know enough, something's wrong with you, you lack boundaries, you lack courage, you lack clarity, what have you. You're stuck because your nervous system has just learned that certain beliefs like these keep you safe, right? There's a reason why we do everything that we do, whether we're aware of that reason or not. And high achieving women carry decades of reinforcement that says being helpful keeps you included, right? Being competent keeps you valued. Being agreeable keeps you safe, right? Being productive. Oh, that added girl, you get so much done. You're so worthy. Being self-sacrificing, right? That's so loving. That keeps the peace. Our body clings to these beliefs until it feels safe enough to release them. And that's what this episode's all about. This episode is about that release. Your body is going to hold on to these beliefs until it feels safe enough to release them. Okay, so let's first kind of touch on why core beliefs form and why they feel so true. I want to give you a little bit of the neuroscience behind it before we jump into these 5 core beliefs that keep us stuck. So let's just kind of anchor in the physiology so all of this lands with compassion. First is that beliefs actually form in the body first, not in the mind. Okay, we have to understand this. Beliefs form in the body first. They don't first form in the mind. Your nervous system is constantly interpreting data. It is gathering data 24/7 beneath your conscious awareness and interpreting that data in order for you to stay safe. And your nervous system experiences things, thoughts, words, people's energy, their expressions, their tone of voice, everything long before our prefrontal cortex makes any meaning of it, right? Our brain is awesome. There's also parts of it that are very slow for good reason. But our nervous system, our body gathers and interprets experiences way before they get into our conscious mind. So we have to understand that. The second thing about why core beliefs form is that safety always determines our perception. So when we are feeling regulated, we have, a certain pair of proverbial glasses on that through which we are seeing everything, right? The world, our relationships, our workspaces, our purpose, our parenting. When we have those regulated glasses on, we perceive options and we can see nuance and we can, access empathy and look at things with compassion and stay flexible and adaptable. That safety that comes from being regulated determines our perception. But when we are thrust into fight or flight and we put on our dysregulated glasses, everywhere we look, we see threats and we see urgency and we see scarcity and we see limited choices. And our scope of vision is so narrowed. Why? Because that's what's going to keep us safe, right? If we're dysregulated, if we're in fight or flight, it makes sense that we would have a hypervigilance for things that might be threatening. But we can train ourselves to live that way. So we want to make sure that when we're in a regulated state, that's the perception, that's the lens through which we see the world. Third, predictive coding, right? Our brain is wired to look at the past and present to predict the future. Predictive coding reinforces old patterns. So if historically, let's say, setting a boundary or saying no to an invitation led to conflict or resistance or tension or disappointment or someone else withdrawing from you, your body remembers that. Your nervous system remembers that. Your nervous system is like a library, just storing all of this information away, all of these life experiences away, right? Your nervous system is a library. And anytime you're faced with an experience in the here and now, and you're going to make a decision, your brain is looking to the past in order to help you predict the future. And it's trying to reinforce old patterns because predicting the future feels safer to us than the unknown. So again, if historically saying no, setting boundaries, slowing down, holding true to your priorities, all of these things have felt like they weren't accepted in the past, your body's going to remember that, and it's going to use that to bring resistance forward now in the present, just to try to protect you. And then I think finally, when we talk about why core beliefs form, it's because stress really narrows our window of tolerance. We talk about our window of tolerance all the time on this show. It's basically our bandwidth, right? How much stress can our body hold, can our nervous system hold before we get thrust into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? Of one of the stress responses. So when you're overwhelmed, your nervous system is going to default to what feels the safest, even if it costs you, even if it's not what serves you best, right? It's the whole idea that a familiar hell to our nervous system is safer than an unfamiliar heaven. Familiarity is safety. And it's why changing a belief, especially a core belief, such as, right, I don't hold the same amount of value if I don't use every minute of my day to be productive. A core belief like that isn't just as simple as like affirmations and journaling. Your body has to experience safety first. Okay, let's jump into the 5 core beliefs that are keeping high achieving women stuck. These are 5 beliefs that I see most often. They're the ones that I think can really shape our days, probably quite subtly. We probably don't even realize it. These are mindsets that drain your energy. These are core beliefs that keep you trapped in cycles of overfunctioning and resentment and depletion. And they're not rooted in logic, right? We just kind of walked through all of that. They're rooted in your body's survival mechanisms. So we're going to go through them pretty briefly because I think they're quite obvious, but I just want to bring awareness to them. So the first core belief that keeps high achieving women stuck is the belief that I don't want to let anyone down, right? I don't want anyone to be disappointed. I don't want to hold up my end of the bargain. I don't want to make anyone else have more work if I don't do X, Y, or Z. Underlying belief is I don't want to let anyone down. Raise your hand if that one lands for you, right? I've definitely felt that. And what's beneath that is this belief that if people are disappointed in me, I'm at risk, right? If people are disappointed in me, then they're not going to invite me next time. If people are disappointed in me, then they're going to reject me. If people are disappointed in me, then they're not going to want to be my friend or hang out with me or ask me to participate next time, or they're going to talk bad about me, or whatever it is that's going on in our mind, right? And it comes from a lifetime of likely being praised for being the reliable one, right? Are you the one who was praised for being reliable, for being dependable? Were you praised for being the strong one and the girl who never needed anything from anyone and was easy on your parents? And you achieved and you got all the accolades and you always came through. If so, right, that's constantly reinforcing this core belief that I don't want to let anyone down. And I get that. The second core belief that keeps high achieving women stuck is this thought that if I slow down, I'm going to fall behind. I can still get caught up in this. And I would venture to say almost all of the women I work with experience this in some measure. If I slow down, I'm going to fall behind, right? I don't have the luxury of slowing down. I can't rest. I'll rest when X, Y, or Z is done. I'll rest when this season kind of slows down, when this project is over, right? When my kids are a little bit older. I can't slow down right now because I'm going to fall behind. And what's beneath this core belief is that our worth is tied to speed, our worth is tied to output, and our worth is tied to excellence. And again, I don't have to explain it to you. I'm sure you can imagine where this is reinforced. We see it everywhere. We see it in corporate life. We see it in motherhood, right? We see it in comparison culture. We see it in entrepreneurship. We see it everywhere. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Well, there's a cost to that, and I'm calling it out. And it's actually not the way to have sustainable productivity, right? To operate at your highest sustainable pace. The third core belief that keeps high achieving women stuck is this idea that it's just easier if I do it myself, right? I'll just do it myself. It's just easier if I'll just handle it. It's easier if I just do it myself. I am notorious for doing this, and I'm working on it. And for me, it's a couple things, and maybe this is true for you too. One, I think there probably is an underlying belief that relying on others isn't going to work out because other people aren't reliable, right? They're not going to have it done how it needs to be done. They're going to forget an important part. They're going to do it and they're not going to do it good enough. And I'm just going to have to redo it. So I'll just do it myself. That's a part of it. Just stuck in old control patterns. But I think another part of it that we don't give ourselves enough credit for is that oftentimes it feels like it's going to take more time and energy to explain what needs to be done than just doing it myself. And that I can relate to that. That feels really true for me. And maybe it does for you too. And I think this belief is really common, especially for those of us who grew up maybe with people in our lives who were a little more unpredictable, right? Maybe it was emotionally. Maybe we had to walk on eggshells. Maybe we couldn't rely on our caregivers or parents for whatever reason, right? Maybe they had a bunch of other kids to take care of, or maybe they were dealing with financial issues, or they were working 3 jobs, or they had their own health conditions, or like whatever it was, they just had their own life. But if they weren't predictable or reliable or consistent, it kind of brings up this whole thing of like, I'll just do it myself, right? I'm the only one that I can really count on. And being stuck in that mindset keeps us isolated, and it keeps us depleted, and it keeps us exhausted and stuck, frankly. That's a third belief. The fourth core belief that keeps high achieving women stuck is that if I say no, they're going to think I'm not a team player, right? They're going to think I'm selfish. They're going to think I'm weak. They're going to think I'm lazy. They're going to think I'm not a team player if I say no. And I think beneath that, if we get really vulnerable and honest with ourselves, there's this idea that like, I'm standing on this like really fragile sense of belonging and acceptance. And heaven forbid, if I have a boundary or decline something or push back or offer another time for the meeting or way to do something, or, deferring something to next month that's not actually a priority, then my belonging is going to be compromised, right? My acceptance, the way that they look at me and invite me in to this group is going to be compromised. And our system has learned to stay agreeable then as a way of preserving connection, right? It's a form of people pleasing. If I just say yes to them and keep them happy, then they're going to see the value that I bring, right? They're going to keep me around. They're going to want to include me. And that's actually not true. And then the final core belief that I think keeps high achieving women stuck. And man, this one's so true for me. This idea that I'm going to rest once things slow down, right? I'm going to rest after the holidays. I'm going to rest, when we go on that vacation in 3 months. I'm going to rest after this big project is done, right? I'm going to rest after the kids' soccer season is over. I'm going to rest this summer. And it's always just like right around the corner, like just out of our reach. But wouldn't you know it, when we get to the vacation or after the soccer season or after the holidays or what have you, lo and behold, there's like 700 million more things that need our time and attention. And we're just chasing a mountain with no peak. We never get there. And I think this is so universal. And I also think it's the most costly. And it's this idea that like, it's not safe for me to rest right now. Everything's tied up in this, right? Rest is something I have to earn. Something bad's going to happen if I slow down. I don't even know how to rest. Rest is so uncomfortable because I'm always going. And the truth is that not just this one, but all of these beliefs, right? Each of these beliefs keeps us running on empty. And it's not because we're not aware of them, right? I'm aware of every single one of these. I still do them. But it's because there's something in my body that doesn't feel safe enough always to do things differently. And I have to intentionally work to bring safety to my body to help myself rewire these thoughts. And that's the shift we're about to make. So what I want to do is I want to just quickly go through each of these core beliefs and offer you a reframe, right? Let's rewrite each one of these in a way that's true, in a way that your body can actually receive, in a way that's grounded and compassionate. And I would encourage you, if there's one of these core beliefs in particular that feels more true than others for you, take the reframe for it and like put that all over the place. Put it on a Post-it note, put it on your fridge, put it on your bathroom mirror, put it on, like make a little screensaver for your phone and put it on your phone screen and remind yourself of the truth. All right, so here's the reframe for the first one. The reframe for the belief number one, which is I don't want to let anyone down. The truth, the reframe for that is that I'm allowed to disappoint people and still be loved. I'm allowed to disappoint people and still be loved. Regardless of what I do, someone is probably going to be disappointed. Can it not be me all the time, right? And I think this truth really creates that internal permission that if this boundary of saying no to this thing or declining this one thing or pushing something off, right, is what actually protects my priorities and my bandwidth and my family and my values, then if someone is disappointed, it's unfortunate, but so be it, right? I can't live my life avoiding other people's disappointment. There's nothing authentic about that. So that's reframe number one. Reframe number two is for the belief that if I slow down, things are going to fall behind, right? If I slow down, I'm going to fall behind. How do we reframe that? Here's the reframe. Rest strengthens me more than overworking ever will. Rest strengthens me more than overworking ever will. This is a slingshot, you guys. And I use that image myself in my mind all the time whenever I'm resisting rest. Whenever I'm resisting closing the laptop, putting it away, right? Not working on the weekends, being present with my kids, not responding to stuff after hours, not in my email all day long. Every time I have to remind myself that rest strengthens me more than overworking ever will. And it's a slingshot. It feels like I'm experiencing so much tension and that I'm being pulled back. But the truth is that that is necessary so that I get the momentum to be pushed forward, right? To be shot forward with more momentum and efficiency than I otherwise could. Reframe for the third core belief, which is what the core belief was. It's just easier if I do it myself, right? It's just easier if I do it myself. The reframe I want to invite you to take on here is that doing everything myself actually costs me my capacity. Doing everything myself actually costs me my capacity. One, not everything is for me to do, right? There are certain things that only I can do. I want to make sure I have the capacity to do those things. Second, doing it alone might feel efficient, but it's probably not. You're probably doing a lot of stuff that is actually not needle moving, right? That's actually not a priority. It can be really lonely. You grow in resentment, right? And it's not sustainable. That's the big picture here. Doing everything myself actually costs me my capacity. And then for the fourth core belief, this idea that if I say no, they're going to think I'm not a team player. The reframe I want to offer you here is that boundaries build trust. Boundaries with others, boundaries with myself, and trust with others and trust with myself, right? Clarity, boundaries are clarity. Clarity is always generous, right? Clarity is kind. Can my boundaries build trust with others and with myself instead of me believing that it's going to make them like I'm going to be an outcast and I'm not going to belong anymore and they're going to think I'm not a team player? If communicated how I'm going to teach you guys inside of the Honor Your Energy course, if we communicate it that way, I promise you that people are going to appreciate your clarity and they're going to respect you for it. And then finally, reframe number 5 So the core belief here is that I'll rest once things slow down. If you've ever heard yourself saying that or thinking that, here's the reframe. Rest is how things slow down, right? Not planning to rest, not I'm going to rest later, not I'm going to slow down later, not I'm going to enjoy my life in 6 months. No, I'm going to do it now, in the present, right? Rest is how things slow down. It is not a reward. It's regulation. So go through these. Maybe you have to go back 5 minutes and listen to these reframes again. Write them down, right? Let your nervous system see and experience them daily. Exposure creates safety. And if you take nothing else away from this episode, just take this, that you guys, we cannot change a core belief without first changing the state of our nervous system. Okay. So I have so many episodes, right? Over 400 episodes now that have so many different somatic body-based tools to help you regulate your nervous system. You can go back, find an episode that talks about that and learn some of them. But also inside of Honor Your Energy, which is my mini course that's coming out the week of Thanksgiving as a Black Friday sale. There's lessons about boundaries in the course, but also every day of the 7 days, you're going to get emailed a daily somatic practice, something that takes 2 minutes that's going to help you shift the state of your nervous system so you have access to the parts of your brain that allow you to start incorporating some of these reframes and stop believing these false core beliefs. And this matters so much right now. It's the holidays, right? Thanksgiving week is full of emotional labor and the invisible load and family dynamics and expectations and so much pressure to like keep the peace and perform. Trust me. And when that happens, your beliefs get louder during weeks like this because our patterns get more activated and our boundaries get tested. And it's also the moment where your system is actually ready for more support because it's probably telling you the truth about your capacity. So next week, the week of Thanksgiving, we're going to begin. It's called Honor Your Energy. It's a 7-day nervous system reset and boundaries. And if any of these beliefs felt familiar, if you have felt them in your body, if you're tired of doing life, exhausted, depleted at the edge of your capacity, I'm telling you, this is exactly what we're going to practice together next week. So it's 7 days to help your nervous system feel safe enough to rest. I know this is a busy time of year. I'm talking about maybe an hour and a half total over the entire 7 days, right? I'm keeping this doable. It's going to help your nervous system, one, feel safe enough to rest, but it's also going to help you set boundaries to say no, to protect your energy, and to reclaim space without guilt. It is gentle. It is practical. It is grounded in the science, and I promise you it's going to feel like such a breath of fresh air and so much relief. And I would love to have you join us. So as you move into this week, like just remember, you are not feeling stuck and overwhelmed because you're undisciplined. You might be feeling stuck because that's how your body has learned to survive. And you are allowed, like permission granted, you are fully allowed to start building a life now that supports your capacity, that honors your energy instead of draining it. God created me. He created you with limits on purpose. It's divine design. Honoring them is one of the most wisest things you can do. Stewarding them, right? Self-leadership, living within your limits is freedom. I'm telling you. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. I'm so grateful to walk this walk with you. Thanks so much for being here. I love y'all so much. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you inside of Honor Your Energy, the 7-day nervous system and boundaries reset. Be well.
If you love Mommy's Podcast, leave a review.
Thanks for listening to Alive and Well. If today's episode resonated, would you do me a favor? Take 30 seconds and leave a 5-star rating and short review. It really helps to get this show out to other people just like you who could also use the information in this podcast. And if you're ready to take the next step in regulating your nervous system, download my free Nervous System Reset Guide. It's linked right in the show notes. Inside, you'll find simple, body-based practices to help you feel more clear, calm, and connected starting today. Make sure you're following the show so you don't miss out on what's coming next, because you were made to thrive, fully alive, fully present, and fully well. I'll see you soon.